to me, Pan-Africanism is an ideal of, the movement of Africans, both at home and in diaspora. We've been spilled over the world through transatlantic slave trade. So we are scattered everywhere. We have been brainwashed with different lies and fantasies to make us feel inferior as human beings. So we are missing a connect. So that's Pan-Africanism, for us to connect back together. Africa is supposed to be like USA, United States of Africa. That was the dream that the founding fathers of OAU had. Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie, named the Nasser of Egypt, many of them like that, Sekou Touré of Guinea. So that's the Pan-Africanism. And then that sense of identity is very important for human beings. That's what we are missing. That's a great link that we are missing as human beings. That's why we are in this level in the world today. We are, we are downtrodden. Everywhere we go in this world, we get disrespected. Everywhere. You understand? Yeah. So the Pan-Africanism that I'm talking about is that re-education, recrafting for us to relate to ourselves proudly as human beings, so we have our own identity intact. You can see what the other races are doing. Yeah. Even the Indians, you see them, they've carved their niche. They can rub shoulder with any other race. The Chinese, the Japanese, all these people too went through the kind of BS we went through. Yeah. You understand? But they liberated themselves mentally. So my own Pan-Africanism
was some sort of mental emancipation.
Yes, everything wrapped together so that we can come together. So like Fela advocated in one song, Center of the World. He said, Africans in Europa, set your mind to Africa. Africans in America, set your mind to Africa. Yeah. So that, imagine the kind of economic power we would have. We have all the natural resources. Without Africa, the other races cannot survive. Without Africa, technology cannot happen. But we are missing that.
Before I go further, whatever happened to the political movement that you started? How come you
I wasn't there when the political party was set up. I was there when the youth movement, which we called Young African Pioneers. Yeah. Young African Pioneers, the idea came from Ghana Young Pioneers that Kwame Nkrumah set up. The intention Kwame Nkrumah had was to start re-educating young people with concise African history, not the Mongo Park history that we were taught in school. So that they grow up and become leaders in society with a new, a liberated mind. Yeah. So the intention, it was to have the pioneers replace Boy Scouts, Girls Guide, Boys Brigade. You see all those structures that the colonialists put. Yeah. That's why we've been chained down mentally so much. They're very organized people. You understand? They organize everything. That is what I'm talking about personally. I tell people I'm not a revolutionary. I'm not. I don't want to be a revolutionary. I'm an evolutionary. As someone who believes that we have to work assiduously, calculatedly, with a lot of intelligence to rebuild. It's not going to happen in a day. Revolutionaries want to break the table. Yeah. And if you break the table, where will you have the conference? You get. So, but I love the spirit that they bring. So my heroes are all revolutionaries. I love the revolutionary spirit, but their main role is catalyst to society. Sometimes they may not move the society forward if you hand over to them. Seriously. So we need, people with leaders of thought who are very organized, that can get into the political landscape. Seriously. You get? Yes. A lot of revolutionaries, I'm not sure they can be also, fantastic politicians either.
Yeah, and I mean, the last part about Fela that I wanted to talk about, because, although you made 25, 26 covers for Fela, you
see this thing I just said now, if you go and put it You don't say it's not controversial. They say, hey, let me say like revolution. It will be like Burna Boy. That's what I'm saying. People take things out of context.
Yeah, I
but
agree with you.
yeah,
and we'll even talk about the Burna Boy a little bit. But you know, your life, although you made 25, 26 covers for Fela, you've gone on to become a renowned global artist who's done covers for artists across the world. And I'd like to talk about that very briefly. But before we move to the other part, the last thing I wanted to talk about with Fela was that there are two covers that you made that I also found, you know, very inspiring. The Beast of No Nation cover, and then, you know, the other cover that got you in trouble with
Fela,
the
Sorrow, Tears and Blood.
And I think it was the Sorrow, Tears and Blood that was inspired by a particular incident in Africa. I'd like you to tell me that story as to what inspired you know, that particular cover that you made, because it was so precious that you kept it for 32 years.
Oh wow, you've done your research well,
you know. So tell me a bit about how you got inspired to design that cover, how Fela rejected it, and why you kept that cover for 32 years. And you can do that in a minute or two.
Okay, it's interesting. You know, life is like that. Any relationship, you know, my Fela and myself, the love affair we had was really heavy. You get? So it's like a heartbreak for me. And what happened was, Sorrow, Tears and Blood, the song was composed. You know, the privilege I had with my other friends was we were very close to Fela, so we were always present those times when he was composing a particular tune. And sometimes during our discussions, we are like the political ideological wing of Kalakuta. So some of the discussions could spill out to Fela deciding to, okay, this team, I want to do a song about it. So we knew why. So particularly for Sorrow, Tears and Blood, that day, you know, meanwhile, you know, I was born a teetotaler. So it's also talking about know thyself. You know, you can go have friends, you can have any type of friend, but you don't have to become them. The best thing is, if you know yourself, you can pick elements that you need. Okay, no, as a teetotaler by nature, teetotalers, they don't smoke, they don't take alcohol. You understand? They may not even womanize.
I like the male.
Because I don't, I humanize. So now, Fela treated me like his child. He loved me so much, like I love him too. When I go to Kalakuta, you know, everybody is smoking and all that. They ask me, let me what you want to say, Fanta. I used to drink Fanta. They loved those days. So, first year, I did the first album cover, I Like More Clues. So the next year, Fela was working on No Bread, the Doji Award. You remember the Doji Award? So,
where everybody bought new TV sets.
Me too. I bought for our house. So he composed No Bread. He recorded it. So it will be my turn. After the recording, they want to release the album, you know, to be design time. So Fela called me. They said, Lemi, how can my artist be drinking Fanta? You need to shack Igbo small, make your head correct. Can you see? So, and you know, it was like a demigod for me. You know, now when you have an icon, a big hero. So I said, okay. You know, in my mind, I said, let me try now. So he gave me. It's a long story. I was high. I was seeing my teeth like this. So it became something funny in Kalakuta. They said, no, give Lemi, they see in teeth now. You know. So that day, I took some goro. It's not even just the that's another story. So I was over high self, and I was scared. And Fela nursed me like his, you know, like his child. So I was say, Fela, see this James Brown. They were playing James Brown, Giro, you know, Sex Machine. So I'll be hearing the bass, the bass is going this way. The rhythm. So I said, you know, because of that highness. So Fela used to go visit his family, his nucleus family. That's the Femi, Yeni, Sola. He had 3 children then. So the wife, they can't stay in that Kalakuta environment. They had moved out to a flat in Ikate Surulere. So he used to go once or twice a week. So he was now going that day. But it was later said that I can now recollect that, okay, it was even like a special occasion, although there was no party. So that day was June 16, 1976. Femi Kuti's birthday is June 16. So it wasn't that they have a party for him or something. I would have remembered. But I think Fela just wanted to go. I don't know, maybe he bought a present for him. But me, I was high. You get again. So, but Fela now said, the way I was behaving, he didn't want to leave me alone. So he now said, Fela, he said, let me, oh yeah, make you follow me. And they go Remi house. That's Yeni, their mother. It's called Remi. So I followed him. Oh. We got there. We were in the living room. We were watching it was in the night, 9 o'clock news on TV. They now said the police in South Africa, in Soweto, has shot students in because they were trying to enforce them to learn Afrikaans language, which is a Dutch kind of. So, you know, as Pan-Africanism, so that was big news. So we said, whoa. And you know, Fela has been singing about police brutality and so on. If you follow Fela's career, he had never really mentioned anywhere outside Nigeria. Most of the songs. That's the only song. That's one of the 2 only songs that he mentioned outside Nigeria. And the 2 albums he chose, and the Soldiers and Blood. Every other song is about Nigeria specifically. So that became our topic during the week. And then, like normal,
like just. Was that the incident that Stephen Biko got shot?
No. Stephen Biko's own was in 1970. 77 or so. Yeah. This one was the students. So it became a topic, and Fela now started writing the song Soldiers and Blood. You know, it's like it's so forte. That's the kind of thing he dealt with. So beautiful. The song was popular with the fans at the shrine, and Fela had this way of doing his things. You know, he was liberated. He liberated himself from the system, like record companies and so on. So he used to sell his master tape to the highest bidder. He handled his business sometimes by himself. So he was charging 50,000 naira then for a master tape. So if you're a businessman, Fela doesn't care. If you want to invest in his music to sell and make profit, and he will sell to you. So because of that, what he normally would do again, and then his songs were like biographical. It reflected what was happening around him. So when he composed a particular tune, it may be because of a particular event in his life or in his surrounding. Now, that tune, he will perform at the shrine, non-specific period. It depends on the urgency for him to put that tune out to the public. So, definitely that song doesn't have to get cold from the event. So let's say NSAS, and he writes a song about NSAS. He will be performing at the shrine, maybe 3 months. Within 6 months, he will release it. People can see. So that was what he used to do. So now, that Sorrow, Tears and Blood was 1976, right? Normally, if things went normal with his life, Sorrow, Tears and Blood would have been released maybe late 76 or early 77. But if you remember his story, February 1977, after Festac, they burnt his house, right? So Tears and Blood got stocked. So it couldn't be released anymore. Fela's lifestyle pattern, everything scattered because of he lost his property and so on. So that put Sorrow, Tears and Blood in the cooler. Eventually, he had 6-album contract with Decca at that period when he was staying in a guest house after the burning of the house. He was staying in Crossroads Guest House in Jibo. So he started recording for that contract with Decca. Then he had to release those ones and so on and so on. So long story, Sorrow, Tears and Blood was now delayed till 1978, 2 years after he had composed it, which wasn't his normal pattern, but because of the incidences. So I'm painting the picture of why it's really hot bad. It touch. You get. Imagine I had had that Sorrow, Tears and Blood. I had to perform it maybe 20 times already, and I was present when the nuclear for that composition. So I knew everything like normal about what I wanted to do. So by 1978 now, when he was ready to release it, so I was ready. I just did the artwork based on, you get, But his house had been burnt. But there were personal issues between me and him. You know, relationship. Yeah, there were personal issues because, like I said, I'm not a revolutionary. So revolutionaries, sometimes we see people like me like you are weak or you are scared. That's the attitude, seriously. So the burning of the house, we will sit down, you know, with the youth wing, you know, we discussed it and so on. From my own perspective, I felt maybe if it was handled in a kind of way, it may not have led to that disaster. Yeah. That's me as a person. So my yoga didn't like that. So meanwhile, you know, power struggle because I was becoming so powerful in my own small clique. You understand? So I'm just giving a background. So because this is history, I don't know how long I'm going to live. So there will be documents in future. You may not use this now, but maybe I buy now. Maybe that one you go bring out, see what you talk that time. So that's the thing. So we had tension. There was also financial tension between me and him. Yeah. So now it was like transferred aggression. The day I happened to now bring the artwork, that time he had moved from the guest house to his manager's place in Ikeja. Yeah. So, you know, he was under pressure anyway. As a human too, we have to recognize that. So the day I now took the artwork to show him, he was having a world press conference. World. So Oyibo them, everybody, they were there. As I walked in, people said, Lemi. Some of the journalists said, is this Lemi? They were shocked. I was just 23. I started from, I was 18. Yeah. Within that space of time, I had done I've been a star in my field since I was 18. So some of them said, okay, Lemi, when we finish with fella, we'll do an interview for you. Anyway, this one, you may not be showing all this one, but let me give you just story. My guy just, you know, it's like, this boy, I need to clip his wings. Seriously, I'm telling you, we are all human. And that's why when people are criticizing somebody, I can understand. Sometimes you just say, whoa, if you see, you don't know what you will do at that point. Anyway, so the next thing he did, like they say in Kalakuta, fella used Lemi do show. He just, you understand? Yeah. He just showed me his power. He didn't even look at that work very well. He just faced one portion where the people were running on a lonely road. He said, why are these people running? Why are these people running? Lemi, he just stood up, started poking me in the chest. Lemi, check your mind. Check your mind. Your mind is weak now. Is it because they bombed my house? We are living in this place, man, right now. We are revolutionaries. Tomorrow we may be sleeping in the gutters, man. Your mind is weak. I big government don't bribe you. Check your mind. Whoa! I'm telling you. The thing is ingrained in my memory. As I'm talking, I'm seeing the whole picture. If you know what they call a heartbreak? That was heartbreak number one. He passed breakfast to now lunch and dinner. So, yeah. So I was petrified. So I just started crying. Well, if you see the tears, like a baby, like a child. I came with a friend. Because meanwhile, I told you there was tension between us. So I had been moving back a bit. Because psychologically, these kind of people, they are under pressure. So they get paranoid. When fella start to suspect you, say you are not loyal, you could get
Kalakuta. Imagine what that must have been. But then you went on to keep, even though he rejected it, you kept that cover for 30
Yes, I told you, know thyself. Yes. I always marked my own territory. I'm telling you, as young as I was, I knew what I wanted in my life. For example, he had 4 shows a week. Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? The first 3 shows starts like way back midnight. Sometimes it starts at 2 a.m. Could perform till 6 a.m. or to 7 early in the morning. I'm not a nocturnal person. If I hang out, I don't sleep. That hangover, I don't enjoy. That's why even alcohol or anything, I don't take intoxicants. I have a light brain. So I never attended those shows majorly. I only attended the one on Sunday called the Sunday Jump. Yeah. That one, from 6 till 11 because I make sure I'm going home to my mother. Even though my friends, all of them don't ja. You get? Me, I know ja. So you get? So I always had my own identity. So when he rejected it, he said they burnt his house. Yeah, that's the most painful part. He said they burnt his house. That I didn't show it. They raped these girls. They put bottle in their eye. This and that. I didn't put it in the painting. I couldn't talk because I knew fella. He would still sing about the burning of the house. That's when I will now put those kind of things in this on the cover of the song. You don't understand? Yeah. This particular song was way back, 70s, but it's being released now. The concept of the cover, why should it change to now reflect the incident that just happened? You see the whole drama, and but I couldn't argue. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I mean, this took you about 7-8 years to reconcile. I want to move away from Fela for a little bit because we're also pressed for time.
For time. Yeah,
and I wanted to ask you because I know that you went on to do work for the likes of Bob Marley.
No, I didn't. It's not directly for Bob Marley. It was the company. Bob Marley was dead already.
Yeah, for Lucky Dube, sorry.
Okay.
For Miriam Makeba.
Yeah,
and the likes.
Based on the multinational record company that I was designing for. So when they had material from abroad, they will come and reissue here. So I will now adjust some things.
Did you ever get to meet Miriam, or did you ever get to meet any of those people?
No, I only met Lucky Dube in New York at the Suppers Club.
Because I wanted to know if you always wanted to feel a spiritual connection to the artist, and if that helped you to
yes indeed. Yeah, with Fela, that was destiny. I had all the connection, but with other artists, anyone that needed like illustration or deep kind of cover, I always love to feel their vibes. I'll give an example. There was this Afrobeat band in New York. They were like the first to even start pushing Afrobeat from like way back 20-something years now. They are called Anti-Balance. You can Google them. Antibales. It's like what do they call it now? What's that second language in America, apart from English, that the Latinos speak? Okay. All right. Anti-balance means anti-bullet. So it was 2001. That's 22 years ago. They contacted me via email. Email was still new that time. Yeah. So I now said to them that I would love to listen to their music. Then I would love phone call. Like all the members of the band, I talked to them to feel their vibes. So I did that. They sent their music. I listened. Like, it took me like 3 months before I could do anything. Like after 2 weeks, they will send message like, how far? I said, I'm still feeling your vibes. So after like 3 months, I was now ready. And I did the cover. It was Bullseye. No correction. They didn't say anything. So
and that's how you like to work. You just like to connect with the soul
yes.
of the artist. And,
I do that a lot.
Winding down, 2 other things I also wanted to speak to you about, especially because I want to believe that you see that the role of an artist in society is beyond entertainment. That the artist should be a tool for societal.
Exactly. Because I believe, creatives, not just the artists, creatives generally. We can call them artists anyway. They are supposed to be philosophers. So that's why when somebody is talking about substance, it's deep.
Now that you brought that up, really, I think we should talk about it in closing.
Yes.
You thought that Burna Boy was unfairly treated, and specifically with the Rolling Stone interview, where you didn't like the content, especially being a Nigerian, was writing that. Why do you think that people are drawing swords at Burna Boy, or do you really think that people are drawing swords at him, or it's because of the kind of rhetoric that he has had, in the public that has made this, rush of bad blood towards him, if you'd like?
I'm used to this kind of thing. I've been in industry for ages, and apart from just the industry, great minds have always been controversial. The basic reason is because society is a pretender. Great minds express themselves right from the bottom of their heart. a lot of great minds. I don't mean everybody, but you know, people like to, when they want to argue, they say, is this every great man? No. Let's say great minds here, a lot of them, if you check their life stories, checkered, is based on like controversial. This person is a genius, but he's controversial. He does things crazy way. That is great minds. So I'm not new. But the thing that is painful to someone like me as a Pan-Africanist, as a hardcore Pan-Africanist, is this attitude that we have as a race of people. We love to bring down ourselves. We love to fight ourselves because we've been inoculated through colonialism with self-hate, self-deficiency. We are not proud of who we are. So when we see a member of our, tribe rise up sometimes to like levels that we never imagined, there will definitely be people who are quick to put holes. But they never do that to their colonial masters, because colonialists are not my own masters. I'm a liberated mind. You understand? All the Oyibo heroes, how many does our people try to punch holes in? I'll give you an example of even Mandela. Nelson Mandela is on record to be one of the greatest leaders in this world that ever happened. Look at the role the man played. I do series I call Iconicity. So when Mandela died, the whole world was showing respect. Some collectors, were eager. When I did Mandela portraits, it was just flying off the shelf because they could appreciate. Do you know, within 2 years, bad blood started. Black people. Some South Africans too. You understand? They start saying, he sold out. He sold out. Look at, what do you want the man to do? Somebody went to jail for 27 years. He didn't recount. Then he had the power for negotiation. Do you know, that's what I say about an evolutionary. You have to work assiduously to put yourself in a position that you can negotiate. Life is about negotiation. You cannot grab anything like woo-ha. Now you get nuclear bomb. You don't understand? So then they just started rubbishing Mandela's achievement. Do you know? I even had 1 or 2 portraits just hang there. Nobody came. Nobody was interested again. Everything just went cold. And I shuddered in my soul like, hey, black people, African people, we are like this. You understand? Look at Burna Boy. I don't know Burna Boy. I've not met him. I know the mom, but it's not as if we have any relation. I know his grandfather. I was with him like 2 months ago at a art festival. He was one of the guests of honor. And the Burna Boy's father too came. I spoke to them briefly, So it's not, I'm not into all these biases. Like, I'm not a fanatic. I don't fan people. I don't know what to call myself. Like in reggae, it's Peter Tosh. Anybody that knew me for the past 40 years, it's Peter Tosh that I stand with. Because of the content. It's deeper than the average person. It's not, I remember a friend of mine will say, he will spend his money to buy Peter Tosh that is preaching. So he prefers Bob Marley because he wants to dance. You see the attitude. I'm not saying anything against Bob Marley, I beg you, you understand. But I'm telling you how I think. So when Burna is talking about substance or anything, I can relate easily. Because even me, I used to say it in my private corner that there's too much the substance in the lyrics. Because some people are purists, that they'll tell me Afrobeats. That is, no. I don't say we should accept this because in my own life, I witnessed that Nigeria now has a musical identity. 30 years ago, I'm one of the people who used to complain like, Nigeria, Makossa was there, the South African people, Congo, but no identity from Nigeria. Nigeria has to do everything, but Afrobeats came eventually. The people started saying, what's Afrobeats? What is that? I will tell them, I said, it's okay. We have a tag. So we can be represented on the global level. And then these young people just blew. I will say, I'm so happy that this happened. I said, but the content is the only problem I have. I said, if they are even emulating Fela, I wish they could do something political. I'm not saying they should be like Fela. But like I talked about, creatives should be philosophers.
Is that why you like to work with Fowles?
Yeah, I love Fowles.
Because I know you've worked with him, you've done a cover.
Yeah, he came to me, yeah, and I was really impressed, and I was overexcited. Yeah, I love what Fowles started with. Yeah, his content was, deep. Yeah. Look at the song. I can't remember the titles now. About a lady that had some issues. Soldier, that one. Yeah. There's even one about about a lady that was raped or something. You remember? Those are substance. I just love. Then one day my agent called me and said, Fowles is asking for your number. Would you like to meet him? I said, of course I would like to, because sometimes I look at these young people, I say, I wish, some of them can come. It's not about money, so that one can support and so on. But their content too, sometimes I would say, it's just Photoshop kind of business. So when Fowles now came to see me, I was so excited. I can talk and he was a great listener. I spent like 5 hours talking. He couldn't even tell me what he came to do. So we got to a point, I said, I'm tired. Then he said, sir. And I said, I'm tired now, I can't listen to him. I said, I will come to your studio. So I went to his studio in Dolphin Estate to listen the 8 songs, and I was blown. It was deep, and it was political. But I'm not a politician, but at least my boy I would say is social conscious here. So I loved it. So he wanted the cover, right? So I did the cover. When I finished, he wasn't in town, he was in Accra. So I sent him a message at the cover. He said I should send him a mail. I said no. I said, I want it to be like Fela Days. You have to come and see it physically. I'm not sending any mail. So he said, okay, when I come back. So when he came, he saw it, he was blown. And I did it pro bono. I wasn't going to ask for money. I said, it would be my cover. I was so happy that, hey, if we have more of these people. So you see where I stand about substance. Yeah. So that was it. About 2 days later, he just called me. He said, that artwork is too much. He said, I have an idea. And I said, these days we do streaming. He said, it's not like those days that they print album or so. He said, so I want you to do an artwork for each of the songs. So when I'm dropping them, is the artwork. How happy can I ever be? So Fowles is on record to be the only artist that I did 9 artworks at a time for. So I did. That time, and I said, this now work. He said, yeah, and he paid well. These guys, they have money. I tell you. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. So but I will tell you another thing later, off camera.
Okay. Okay. We're pressed for time now, and I think we have to wind our conversation down now. And I'd just like to ask you, you're 55, 57 years of age now?
No.
How old are you now?
I'll be 68 in December 26.
What?
Yeah, I'll be 70 soon.
So you're almost 70?
Yeah.
What do you want to spend the rest of your life doing, sir?
This same thing I'm doing, and sharing the ideology, helping towards mental liberation of our people. That's been my mission. That's the mission of Fela Kuti, people like Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah, and so on. So we have to continue. We must not give up. Regrets? No. Regrets, I feel life is a journey. Every mistake or failure is part of the process. So whatever you regret is part of the experience. I don't go talk that one. The thing that is very close to a regret is marriage. What? I'm not talking that.
Madam is upstairs.
Yeah. Because of it's painful. It's difficult to be a conscious being in an ignorant society. And then, believe you me, every society has amount of ignorance. Because I don't like this scenario where everything negative, Nigeria or Africa, everything positive now in Igbo is a lie. It's a fantasy. So, but if you are conscious, it's a big burden. So I face that kind of burden. People like me, I don't have friends as such. The friends I have are all millennials because they are fresh. Yeah. And I can relate to that. And you see me, I rhyme. I intentionally wore this to look like I'm 20. So that millennials know when they see this your interview, you know this is 2023. Yeah. So they won't be picturing me as OG. You get? So they will listen. So that's the thing. So the role of religion, it's scary. The way it has affected our minds. It's affected the decisions we eventually make in this life. I mean, Africans generally, we carry the thing for head. And it's illusion, it's fantasy. Because presently, we are seeing what is happening. Look at what the other races are creating. See Chinese. Those kuru people. See what they've done. If you see one Chinese highway that they just created, somebody shared it on WhatsApp like 3 days ago. When I saw it, I just surrendered and said, you get, look at us, graduates, master degree, PhD, master, all over the world, we go run. The small money we are making, even though our economy is eroded by colonial masters though, and their stooges, all this, all this, all of them, you don't understand? We will still pack the money individually. We are as bad as our leaders or rulers. We don't even have leaders, it's rulers. In Nigeria, I'm talking about Nigeria. You get, the average Nigerian now makes money. I want to run to London. I want to go to Canada. And you pull up like 6 million naira. And you say your country is hard, it's too hard for you. You now go and invest in that in oblivion. Oju Olomo Oto. Where you don't even know your chances. You understand? Go and then do second slavery. Voluntary slavery. That mentality is wrong. So the same thing with religion. You know, I have to be careful.
I think we're out of time.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Partnership that I started as a teenager. After decades, religion now scattered the thing. So right now, I'm single in the last 2 years. After 45 years, religion, born again madness. No reality anymore. And these people are so judgmental. I'm sorry, I know you can be Christian and Muslim. I'm not abusing anybody. I'm painting the picture. Maybe in your wise mind, you can reflect on it. So you can get out of that chain of mental slavery that has been put in our head. That's why Africa has not moved forward. The Indians, they didn't drop their religion. They didn't drop their tradition. They picked the technology from Oyibo. They held on to their tradition like this. Chinese, Japanese, Koreans. What did Africa do? We pick religion, we hold it. We know handle technology. So we are consumers forever. Can you imagine? And all the natural resources are here. Without us, they cannot do all this technology. Don't power lati 400 years. So we need to wake up.
Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.